What we're saying by purity culture is, in order to create a world or a church system or a pocket of like Christian goodness or something, then they started using a bunch of tactics to get the end that they wanted. They started with the end. Let's make sure that our youth group kids don't have sex. And then they created tactics to make that happen. One of which was leveraging shame to ensure that people's behavior is modified.
Right.
Right? And then they came up with other ones as well. They said, okay, in order to make sure that another tactic in purity culture was to say sex was so incredible inside the right context. It was better than any sex that you could have outside of that. Right. But it was so dirty in the wrong context that it damaged you completely. Right. So I remember this one, I can't remember her. I heard one person talk about it. They're like, sex is so dirty and gross and awful. And that's why you save it for someone that you love. Right. Yes. You know, like that was that kind of vision of what it was. So there's all these kinds of, and then I think we can talk about, I don't know if we'll have a lot of time to talk about this idea, but also it was based they would then also start leveraging tactics around what women are supposed to be and what men are supposed to be in order to get them to the outcome of not having sex.
Yes.
You know? So, and so then they would create other things too. They would create, whole conferences that would be, and instead of saying I'm going to lose my virginity, I'm going to pledge my virginity.
Yes.
Right. So you would have purity cultures, purity cards, purity rings, purity balls, all sort of.
Yeah, purity balls was a new idea to me until you said that was a thing.
Yeah. So like a purity ball was like, you would go as like a teenager to this thing at your church, and you would say, I'm not going to have sex, and I'm going to sign a card, and I am going to get a ring. Like your parents would buy you a purity ring and you would wear it. And typically the wild part was like, typically your date was your dad. Like, and this was all out of the I Kiss Dating Goodbye movement, which was like, I don't date, I only court. Like,
oh my, yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a wild time. It was
a podcast for another time. I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah. You know, like where you don't like ever put yourself ever in a situation where maybe the sexy times happen. You know? Yeah.
Right,
So that whole system and structure is purity culture.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's helpful too, G, and even just to put the word tactics around it, because we're not saying that there's no merit to this idea that covenantal marriage is the correct context for sex.
Yes.
Like that, we believe that that's true. But it's the tactics that were used to try to convince people or hold people to that in a behavior sense, as opposed to really communicating a compelling case for why you would want that.
Yes.
That's become kind of the problem are those tactics that you're saying.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you can stay tuned for all of our content.